Good afternoon, Year 5. Welcome to our first topic lesson, which is history. We are going to be looking at the Anglo Saxons and the Scots. And last half term, we looked at the Mayans. So, a little task could be if you could find out if the Mayans lived before or after the Anglo Saxons and the Scots. And you could even make your own timeline showing different civilizations and where the Mayans and the Anglo Saxons fit on this timeline. That would really aid your understanding of the history and the timing. So, your date is Monday, the 11th of January 2021, and our target is I can describe why, where, and when the Scots and Anglo Saxons invaded Britain. Today we are going to write sentences to show we understand that. We are going to label a map to show the different Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, and we are going to write about a character from history. Now you are in your pink books, but make sure you are on the page with a map of Great Britain. It's already been stuck in for you, so make sure you're writing your date and target above that, please, Year 5. So, don't get a fright, some of these slides are quite wordy and have lots of information, but the positive is that you can then pause that and reread it if you need it. Before the Angles and the Saxons arrived in Britain, they were a Germanic tribe living in Europe. Britain was under attack by the Picts, Scots, and Saxons, but by 410 AD, the Romans had left Britain. And that was because they had to go and defend their home territory as they were under increasing threat from external invaders. This meant Britain was left to its own devices for the first time in about 400 years of protection under Roman rule. The British were quite unprepared for fighting. The Scots. The Gaelic-speaking Scoti who came from Ireland were descendants of the Picts, who had earlier invaded Ireland around 200 AD. Historians believe that these Irish Scots invaded and claimed land in Scotland in the 4th and 5th centuries. The Scots divided the land in Scotland into 4 separate kingdoms, which were named Dalriata, Pictland, Strathclyde, and Bernicia. The Picts and the Scots were a constant threat to the Britons, and it was even harder to fight them off without support from the Romans. They were described as foul and with a lust for blood by a historian from the time named Gildas. They are said to have streamed over Hadrian's Wall, killing everyone in their way. Oh dear. Vortigern. The British king Vortigern was left in charge after the Roman armies left, but he faced great difficulty organising troops to hold back the Picts and Scots, who were very powerful and superb fighters. He worried they would take over Britain. In a bid to retain control and keep the Picts at bay, it is believed that Vortigern asked 2 brothers called Hengist and Horsa from Jutland, which is now Denmark, to come and fight for him to keep the Picts and Scots out. So these are the 2 brothers that he asked to come, Hengist and Horsa. They were glad to oblige, and the Picts and Scots were successfully held back. However, the men liked what they found in Britain and decided that they wanted to stay and take land for themselves as it was rich and plentiful, and the Britons could easily be defeated. They brought more warriors, and over time the invaders began to settle around Britain, pushing the Brits further and further out. The Anglo-Saxons. The brothers and their warriors weren't the only ones who had their sights set on colonising Britain. Other Germanic tribes had also been invading Britain for some time, and without Roman protection, they proved to be a formidable force against the Brits. These invaders are known to us as the Anglo-Saxons because the 2 biggest invading tribes were the Angles and the Saxons. Other invaders were the Jutes, Franks, and Frisians. They came from modern places known as Germany, Holland, and Denmark. And we are going to have a little look at a map now. So you can see the arrows are the Jutes, Angles, and Saxons, and they're in different colours. And this is a map of the United Kingdom, and then on the right hand side we have Europe. So you have got 4 questions to work out, and you may need to pause this and go online and look at a map to find out the countries in Europe. Where are the invading troops coming from? So where do those different arrows begin? There's 4 different places there where they start. Whereabouts in Britain did they settle? So where are all the arrows pointing to? And why do you think they didn't manage to take control? Can you remember? Have a look. So, the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. The British fought hard against the Anglo-Saxons, but by about 600 AD, they had been either forced to escape or had been taken as slaves. Those who escaped retreated mainly to Wales and Cornwall. The rest of Britain was divided into 7 kingdoms. Now, our first task is going to look at these, so we'll try and remember them. There's Northumbria, and I bet you've heard that word before. Essex, Wessex, Sussex, Mercia, Kent, and East Anglia. And you can see them there on the map. And you could have a look and compare to a modern day map to see whereabouts they are now. Your task. Already in your book you have stuck in a map of the United Kingdom, and what I would like you to do is to imagine that it is a map of Anglo-Saxon Britain and the 7 kingdoms that they split it into. So can you remember on the previous slide we looked at 7 kingdoms? I'll give you a clue, one of them was Northumbria. What I would like you to do is label the map with all of those different kingdoms, please. And you have also got a little information paragraph, and all you need to do with that is fill in the missing words. So I will pause the PowerPoint now, go and do that work, and then come back to me. So Year 5, you should have completed that work now, and your last task is to use the knowledge we've learned to research a little bit more about one of the characters that we've learned about. So that could be Vortigern, that's the king, Hengist or Horsa, one of the brothers, and what I would like to know is, have a look, what did they look like? How would they have felt about the events at the time? And your task is to draw the character that you've chosen and just write me a few little facts around them. Okay, and I can't wait to see what work you've produced. Thank you, Year 5.